Hey everyone, I'm Kristen, the anxiety therapist. Thanks for checking out my blog today. I'm going to be talking about the scarcity versus abundance mindset, and this is a concept that was first coined by Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I'm actually reading that now, and it's pretty interesting, so I'd recommend checking it out if you haven't already. But basically, the idea behind this is if we have an abundance mindset, we see there being enough resources to go around. So this leads to more options, choices, more opportunities, and there's a sense of trust in kind of things that are outside of our immediate control. On the flip side, if we have a scarcity mindset, then we experience feelings of lack and competition. So things feel a lot more high stakes, which ultimately contributes to feelings of anxiety. We tend to focus more on limitations and not opportunities. And we see someone else's achievement as sort of meaning that we lost something in some way. So if somebody else succeeds, then it sort of directly correlates with us not succeeding, which isn't always the case. And it really keeps us from achieving our goals because we sort of place these mental limitations on ourselves that keep us stuck, as opposed to looking at other opportunities or expanding our awareness or seeing other options out there. So the corporate world has really sort of conditioned us to have a scarcity mindset. Promotions and raises tend to be scarce, and so we feel like there's a lot of competition behind receiving one of those. We see resources as being limited. Managers can hoard information or really micromanage their employees. And there's a lot of short-term thinking as opposed to what would be best in the long term, which is more of that abundance mindset if we're thinking more long-term and not just sort of instant gratification. So what can we do in order to shift from a scarcity to abundance mindset? Well, a lot of times if we're prone to anxiety, let's say, we tend to have very negativistic thinking. And so this sort of predisposes us to just naturally have a scarcity mindset, right? We sort of see the glass as being half empty and we're more pessimistic, we're more cynical and whatnot. So one thing that you can do is focus on what you have. So it's important to recognize what we have because what we tend to focus on grows. So if we're focusing on what we already have, then that will continue to grow versus this sense of lack and focusing on what we don't have, then that is what will continue to grow in our mindset. And we'll sort of, it becomes sort of like this self-fulfilling prophecy where we subconsciously make that our reality. The second thing is to surround yourself with people who tend to have a more positive mindset or have an abundance mindset, because really we tend to be the combination of the 5 people that we surround ourselves with the most. So you want to make sure that the people you're hanging out with, that you respect them and you admire them, and that you kind of strive to be like them in some way in terms of being the best version of yourself. So you want to make sure that the people you're surrounding yourself with are building you up. They're making you feel like you can accomplish your goals and be the best version of yourself. Third is to look for a win-win situation. So a lot of times if we have a scarcity mindset, we see things as being a win-lose. So if we win, someone else loses, and vice versa. If someone else wins, we lose. But there's a lot of collaboration that can occur that actually allows people to have a win-win situation. And what you really need to do in order to achieve that is to be open and understanding and non-judgmental, and just really listen to others' ideas and how you might be able to benefit each other and sort of have this reciprocal working relationship. And this isn't just in regard to work, this is also in terms of personal relationships as well. Fourth thing is to practice gratitude daily. This is a concept that comes from positive psychology, and it's really kind of widespread and believed that gratitude really makes a difference in terms of overall well-being. So what I often recommend to my clients is to keep a gratitude journal where before you go to bed each night, you just jot down 5 things that happened that day that you're grateful for. And it doesn't have to be anything big or monumental, but maybe you had an extra 10 minutes before you got to work, and so you were able to stop and get that cup of coffee that you were craving, or something as minuscule as that. But just when we're intentional about focusing our attention more on the positive, then again, that is what tends to grow. And then finally, we can train our mind to recognize possibilities. So a lot of times if we are prone to anxiety, we can get fixated on something in particular and get really fixated, especially if we feel like we don't have control over that. And so then any other possibilities or thoughts that come into mind that doesn't fit with that or doesn't lead to that outcome, we will kind of dispel and discredit, but this occurs outside of our awareness. We don't necessarily recognize that our thoughts are responding that way, but we will only integrate information that kind of fits with whatever it is whatever outcome we're looking for. So it's really important to just be open and receptive to other ideas and expand your awareness in that way. And so then you'll find that, things that you never even considered might actually be a better alternative to what you were so fixated on. And that there are opportunities that, will seem to come out of thin air, but it's actually that you've just sort of opened yourself up to be able to see those by expanding that awareness and having more of an abundant mindset. So this is something that is really hard to do, and a lot of my clients struggle with this. So if this video resonates with you and you're finding yourself struggling with this, definitely reach out. I do free consultations. You can ask a question or leave a comment on the video, or subscribe to my YouTube channel or Facebook page to follow my vlog and get more weekly videos. But anyway, I hope this was just a helpful little introduction to the concept and that you are able to kind of assess how it shows up in your own life. So have a nice weekend, and I'll see you next Friday.